There's a story unfolding right now, not in some distant history book, but in the very heart of South Asia. It's the story of a community that is, piece by piece, vanishing. This isn't about natural change, no. This is a story of fear, of pressure, and of a slow, systematic decline. We are here to investigate the evidence behind the disappearance of the Hindus of Bangladesh. This headline from August 2024, it's stark. It describes a flashpoint of violence that grabbed the world's attention, but you have to understand, for the people living through it, this wasn't some new storm that appeared out of nowhere. It was the same terrifying thunder they'd been hearing for generations. And that story, it doesn't just unfold in these sudden, violent bursts of fire. It happens in the quiet moments too. In the silent departure of a family packing their bags for good, in the forced sale of ancestral land, and in the steady, relentless decline of a people. To really understand the long story, we first have to look at the immediate crisis, the recent events that dragged this hidden reality out into the open. You see, when political power in Bangladesh shifted in 2024, it was like a dam breaking. A wave of violence was unleashed, and it was targeted. In the chaos that followed, hundreds of Hindu homes and businesses were vandalized and burned. Temples, places of worship, centers of community were desecrated. And it wasn't just a few isolated incidents. International monitors like the UN documented thousands of these attacks, a brutal, undeniable spike in a very old pattern. The fires, the violence, they're just the symptoms of a much deeper problem. To really grasp what's going on, we need to step back from the headlines. We have to look at the cold, hard data, because the real evidence, it's written in the numbers. And this is where the picture becomes crystal clear. We're looking at census data collected by the government of Bangladesh itself over decades, and it reveals a trend that is stark, consistent, and frankly alarming. Let's go back to 2001, just over 20 years ago. Hindus made up almost 10% of the entire country's population, a significant, visible community. Now, fast forward 10 years to 2011. That number, it's fallen to 8.5%. That's a drop of more than a full percentage point in just a single decade. And by the latest census in 2022, it shrank again to below 8%. You see the pattern here? It's undeniable, and it is moving in only one direction, down. Now, if you look closely at this table, you might see the absolute number of Hindus going up just slightly, and you might think, well, the story is more complicated. That is a critical misreading of what's happening. The real story, the crucial point is this. The total population of Bangladesh grew much, much faster. So for the Hindu community's share of that population to fall so dramatically, it means they aren't just being left behind, they are shrinking into demographic irrelevance. This didn't just start happening on its own. The roots of this demographic collapse go deep, all the way back to two foundational traumas that tore the Indian subcontinent apart and left scars on this community that have never healed. The first shock was the 1947 Partition. A line was drawn through the heart of Bengal, fracturing a community and setting off huge waves of migration. The second was the Liberation War of 1971. It gave birth to a nation, yes, but that birth was violent, and minorities, particularly Hindus, suffered disproportionately in that violence. Many who fled to India for safety simply never came back. These two events created a permanent state of vulnerability. But it's not just the big, historic wars that are fueling this decline. It's the daily, grinding pressure. It's a slow, silent erosion of rights, of property, and of security that has been going on for decades. This slide, it breaks down one of the main weapons being used in this slow-motion war, land grabbing. The pattern is predictable and it's ruthless. First, a family is intimidated. Then, fraudulent documents suddenly appear, often with the help of corrupt local officials. And finally, the family is forced out. Their economic anchor is gone, and they're left with little choice but to leave. And it goes way beyond just land. You have a constant barrage of other threats. Attackers are almost never punished, which creates this culture of impunity. Human rights groups have documented cases of forced conversion. And as we saw in 2024, any kind of political instability can be used as a trigger for more targeted violence. It is, in effect, a multi-front assault on this community's very existence. So, what's the cumulative effect? What happens when you combine these historical shocks, this clear demographic data, and this persistent daily pressure? The result is a community that is staring at a vanishing future. And the consequences are devastating. We're talking millions of people who have left the country over decades. Those who stay are often pushed into smaller and smaller pockets, losing their collective political voice. The economic losses from destroyed property and stolen land are immense. But maybe the greatest loss of all is cultural. A rich heritage, woven into the very fabric of Bengal for centuries, is at risk of being completely erased. And at the absolute heart of it all is this critical failure: justice. When attacks on homes, on temples, on people go uninvestigated and unpunished, it sends a clear and chilling message: you are not safe here, and no one is going to protect you. This systemic impunity is the fuel that keeps this vicious cycle of violence and migration turning. So the numbers tell a story of decline, the headlines tell a story of violence, the history tells a story of trauma, and the evidence, when you piece it all together, is overwhelming. And it leaves us with one final haunting question. When a community is systematically pushed to the very brink of disappearance, who is held accountable?